Hello and welcome back to another Llorwyn Eclipsed Premier Draft. The pick here has got to be the Gloom Ripper. We could wheel the Safe Right Cavalry, and I doubt we do, but would love to wheel Pogslother's Embrace for the Elf deck. Kinspale Aspirant is great for Kithkin, but Gloom Ripper is just so strong. Best card here, unfortunately, not an Elf card, is the Thought-Weft Lieutenant. And there's nothing really in the realm of pick 2 strength for elves. Safe Right Cavalry is playable. It's good, but nowhere near the power level of like a Cinder Strike or Thought-Weft Lieutenant. Actually curious. Let's take a Cinder Strike. Thought-Weft is stronger, but it requires you to be exactly Kithkin. Here, there's a Scarblade Scout for the Elf deck. Is that the best card? The Blossoming Defense is one of the better combat tricks. Temporal Cleansing is here. Man, we end up playing Elementals a lot, it feels like. And trees. Let's take the Scarblade Scout. It's not that far between Temporal Cleansing and Scarblade Scout, like a C plus B minus type deal. And here we have Gut Splitter Gang, an Evolving Wilds, and then a Feastling that would go in any of our decks. This has a surprisingly high win rate, considering it's understated. Let's take Feastling. I think it goes into enough decks that we're okay taking it here. Iron Shield Elf. So it looks like the Elf thing is still very much a possibility. This is one of the best 2-drops, if not the best 2-drop common in the set, or uncommon. Blight Rot is a good sign. Couple Merfolk, so we are passing Merfolk to our drafters to the left. And here, there is a Stoic Grove Guide that we can play, but I hope we pick something up that is better. There's another Scout. We'll take that. Now we're not too bad at milling. Which can obviously be an upside for elves. And the Bogslother's Embrace actually does wheels. That's great. We will take it over a Cavalry. Removal is important in this set, and this Safe Right Cavalry, while nice, is something I'm sure we can pick up multiple copies of in later packs. So Gloom Ripper is technically removal. Auntie's Sentence here is removal for like a X2. 2 mana sorcery speed. So I'm kind of tempted to take a Surly Farrier here. Guildleaf's Embrace doesn't make a ton of sense in a deck where we want stuff to die typically. But right now the only graveyard payoff we have is Stoic Grove Guide. And then technically Gloom Ripper, but Gloom Ripper is getting X to be pumped, whether it's an elf card on the battlefield or graveyard. Let's take another Blight Rot here. We'll play one of these Elementals if it's the only thing available. Otherwise, we'll play a Scarblade's Malice or Stoic Grove Guide on the wheel here. Luis Alana, a foreman, or ooh, almost missed the more cancel list. The Lord. We absolutely will take the Lord. Try and wheel the informant. And the Elm would be fine, but it's not an elf. The Kithkin is great, just hard to cast with double green and not going to have nearly as many hits in a green-black elf deck than it would a green-white Kithkin deck, obviously. Another Bogslither's Embrace is here. We're not going to wait to see if it wheels. We're going to take that. Probably pick up a Scarblade's Malice. Another Scarblade Scout, Midnight Tiling, Cavalry, or Extractor. I think Scarblade's out. More lifelink, more milling. And we don't have anything like a Morkant's enchantment yet. Is it Morkant's Eyes? Okay, we'll take the Eulogist. This has been an overperforming common in the elf deck. Better than its stats would imply that it is. And here there's like nothing for us. We'll take a Wicker Maw, I guess, just in case there's some crazy card that we want to splash for. Rooftop Percher is also an overperformer. I think we'll take a Blighted Blackthorn over it though. I don't love either of the changelings. We have enough removal. But we'll take a 3-drop here to fill out our curve if we need it. Shimmer Creep. There's another Stopwing. And here we take the Malice. Oh, a Midnight Tiling even wheeled. So we don't actually have the 2/1 elf that draws when you attack with them, but this Scarblade's Malice makes it a lot more palatable to play a card like that. Here we have an Oko. This is a crazy strong card. We don't have any Evolving Wilds, no ways to wheel to fix besides a single Forging Wicker Maw. So as much as I'd like to play this, I think we just have to take a card like a Eulogist or Bristlebrain Outrider here. The Reaping Willow is good. It is hard to cast. If we put Midnight Tiling over here and we don't run the Surly Farrier, we are heavy black. And I think the Moonglove Extractor will wheel, is my guess. Shadow Urchin is very nice. Unfortunately, it's in the same pack as a Pummeler for Hire, an Assert Perfection, and a Darn, and Eulogist. I think we just gotta take this. This thing is stupid strong. Is it? 3 mana, 3/4. Maybe it's just the Pummeler for Hire. Or Assert Perfection. Ooh, the Donhan Dissident is great. This thing is a problem. Twilight Diviner. Are we actually going to play this? Or are we just going to take another Pogslither's Embrace? Let's take a Definer. I think Donhan Dissident would trigger this copy effect, right? There's another Iron Shield Elf. Fabulous. Pick up. Scarblade Scout over the Lysolana Informant. Take a Barbed Bloodletter. Hope not to play it. Moon Glove Extractor will make the deck. Blackthorn can go, and then we need one more cut. It's either going to be Surly Farrier or the Shimmer Creep. It's one of our non-elves. Let's cut the Farrier. We have enough early drops. Okay, I think that's the deck as is. I'm considering cutting Shimmer Creep. Vivid is only ever going to be 2. So it's a 5-mana 3/5 that pings for 2, gains us 2 life. But we have lifelink here, 4 lifelink cards here. These will gain life. Very curious if we want to actually run that or if we add Surly Farrier. Let's see. Let's see how we like it. Let's put removal in a pile over here. Combat Tricks to the right of that. Do nothing over here. And this is a nice little average elf deck, but the elf deck is strong. So I think an average elf deck is going to be stronger than an average any other archetype. Pretty close to Merfolk, but better than elementals and the unsupported archetypes. First opponent will be Steam Hands with a cute little knife. Yeah, let's keep this all black land hand. It's got a nice little 1-2-3 curve out. I'm gonna start with the Iron Shield Elf as opposed to the Scarblade Scout. I'm going to Surveil at the end of the opponent's turn. To try and hit a land. We do not need a Shimmer Creep. White 2. opponent plays a midnight tiling of their own. They have Nameless Inversion, which is great. Notably, this deck did not end up with any Eclipsed cards. I think we will blight one. Oh my gosh, we're stuck on 2 lands and he's scooping. Maybe he just had to jet to try and hit a land. And we'll keep it. Scarblade Scouts should help the Dawn Hand Eulogist have an elf card in the graveyard. We're basically going to mill 2, 4, 7 cards. So it's very unlikely we don't get at least 1 elf in the graveyard. And there we go. There's the Loyalist. I would rather draw that, but... Red-green. Okay, don't see that very often. Let's attack with the Scarblade Scout. And drop an Iron Shield Elf. Since we know we have elves in the graveyard for Dawn Hand Eulogist, I don't think we have to play Scarblade Scout first. Evolving Wild, so he could not have a play this turn. He's hovering our cards like he's got removal. We're going to have to discard here. Let's get rid of the Scout. And we draw another one. I know he could have Tweeze, but I think I actually like the Eulogist first, as it's got Menace. And he's got white. Okay, so he's Vivid. And there's that Guild Weaver that would have blocked our Pummler for higher. So I'm glad we played the Eulogist. Oh, also we couldn't play the Pummler for higher. It's 5 mana. More removal is gone. That's not bad if it clears the way for a land. That lets us slam down Pummler for higher. Eclipse Kithkin is good. Gonna let him double block our Dawn Hand Eulogist. But we can blow something up with Embrace. And he's attacking, that seems crazy. It seems absolutely crazy. 3, 6, 8. I mean, he's got open mana. We could go for Box, so there's Embrace and try and kill him, but... What does he got? 4 mana, all colors. Okay. Not a huge surprise. And if it is something like, what's it called, Giant Strike or whatever, where his creature does damage equal to its power to another creature, he could not afford that last turn with Pummler for higher. Yikes. Aurora Awakener. It's gonna be hard to beat. At least he gets just lands, essentially. That being said, we can still attack with our Pummler for hire if we blight it. Or we just pay the extra 3 if we draw no action. So his Vivid is 3. We can pump him for 2. Cool, and unless he's got a bunch of life gain, game is over. Finish him off with Shimmer Creep. And he did have life gain, unfortunately. But now he needs removal. Or 2 creatures. Because Menace will poke through 3 damage and we get it. Cool. That was close. This is a starting hand. Let's keep it. No 2-drop. We do have the Dissident. And we'll surveil at the end of his turn to try and hit a land. No, thank you. That's rough. Okay, there we go. Got the extractor out here now. And hopefully he doesn't play like a 4-3. Oh, you know what? That is something we need to kill. I think the only chance we have of doing that is getting him to block our 2/1 Moonglove extractor. And then casting Scarblade's Malice. Assuming we don't draw like Bog, so there's Embrace or something. It looks like that's what he plans to do, is to block Moonglove extractor, because we do get cards from attacking with it. Okay, that thing, to be honest, needs to die. First main phase, no thank you. The card advantage from this is just too much too fast. With even Vivid 2, you're getting 2 non-land cards that you could play in a turn. In fact, like this, when I have played it, has gotten so many non-land cards. He has another, oh my gosh. Has gotten so many cards that I end up not selecting the maximum X sometimes. I'm trying to play out my hand because I'll get to like 7 cards in hand. Because every turn I'm playing a card exile with Sinar. Alright, let's try and get him again. Oh, he blocks with Flaring Cinder. Drop the Pummor for higher here, and that thing can attack into Sonar. Ooh, those are some big boys. Noggle Mine is cheap removal. He can play that, but he can't also play the aggressor in the same turn. Good news is with the ward, it'll take up 4 mana if he does target Pummor for higher. And we can still blight. Oh, I guess we would kill it, but what do we think of Eulogist plus Garblade Scout? Temporal Cleansing and Tweeze. Oh my. So we can get back the Prideful Feastling or the Moonglove Extractor or Scarblade Scout by using Donhain Dissidence. Blight 2 effect on the Eulogist. He actually sends the Scarblade Scout back. That's interesting. Why is that? Is he going to blow up our other stuff with Tweeze? Also, we should have attacked with Pummor for higher, since we have Scarblade's Malice. Will give us a higher Vivid as well for our Shimmer Creep. If we play the Eulogist, we can get back Scarblade Scout and play it as well. I think that's better than dropping Shimmer Creep or Reaping Willow here. I think we Blight 2 first, yeah. Yeah. We are getting low on cards in deck. Creature spells. It's gotta be a creature spell. Wait, we can cast a... We can cast one of his creature cards. I didn't know that. That's busted. What do you exile? Boulder Dash. Yikes, he can blow up our Pummler for hire. And he'll probably blow up the Dissident now, after seeing how much of a problem it is. Yup. That's exactly what he does. Now if he places Giant, his 2/5 first striking Giant, we can potentially still get him with Scarblade's Malice when we attack with Ulysses. He opts to play Sourbred Auntie. Scrubs back Scrounger, okay. Milling ourselves is tricky here. Well, we can play Reaping Willow. And do we want to trade for a Sourbred Auntie here? And bring back our Dissident. Three six is big. That's outside the range of a lot of damage-based removal in red. Outside the range of Tweeze, of Boulder Dash, of the 4 damage one. Of Cinder Strike, which does either 2 or 4 damage. Feed the Flames is what I was thinking of. And he's attacking with Scrounger here, even though he knows we can block with Reaping Willow. Because he would be able to finish off the Reaping Willow with the Feed the Flames. Hi, Mr. Eulogist. Alright, well, let's see, he's got 3, 4, 5 power here. We can attack with the Reaping Willow. I'm scared to play the Scarblade Scout. But I think that's what we should do after we play the Shimmer Creep. Is it? We mill 2 more? That's fine. And at his end step, we'll Surveil and put a Blight counter on Reaping Willow. There's the Boldman aggressor. Been waiting for that. We've got a lifelink on the crackback. How many cards left in deck? 10? I mean, let's default, I guess. Blight 2. Let's start with a Shimmer Creep attack. More for hire would be a cool card to bring back. Like this scout. I have to be very, very careful from here on out about running out of cards. The opponent has 12 left, so we will mill first. He also has 3 elementals to behold. So he can copy one of his elementals and give haste. It could be the Stratosaur. That's going to represent 3 more damage in the air. Plus whatever he gives flying. Probably the Llorwyn aggressor. Oh, yes. So he can give 2 creatures flying by copying the Stratosaur. And then the Stratosaur itself will have flying. So he will have 6, 7 flying creatures next turn if he wants. The Brute is going to have double strike as well. That's also spooky scary. We're going to have to try and ping him to death with the Eulogist and the Shimmer Creep. Okay, he might mill first now. We're both at 7. We'll draw first. But if he plays any extra cards with Sonar, that's him milling first. Let's attack with Shimmer Creep. This will add a Vivid because the elf token is green and black. Actually, we have a Pummor for hire, so Vivid stays too. Okay, I think what we do is We white 2. We choose a random card we're actually not going to cast. We put it out on Reaping Willow. Spend the 2. Get back Twilight Diviner. Or the Eulogist. The Eulogist is going to mill us, so I think we need the Twilight Diviner. Sorry, if we want that back. We can take something from... Yeah. Okay. Hold on. White 2. Choose a swamp. Put that on the Reaping Willow. Activate this. Bring back the Twilight Diviner. Put the Loyalist on top. And now we're going to try our best to survive this turn. What could we bring back from his graveyard? Flaring Cinder. Sonar. This goes back Scrounger, so not super interesting stuff. Uh-oh. Here goes the Pummler for hire. We do gain 4 life when we replay him. It's not all bad news. Okay, that's not good. He's looking like he's fixing to finish us off this turn. You can make both our creatures unable to block and hit us for 8, 11, 15, 17, and 20, 24. Alright, good game. Think about how we interact with our graveyard more. I think if we had played a bit tighter, that game plays out a bit differently. We now know the Dissident also can grab cards from his graveyard. Alright, we're back. No 2-drop, let's keep it. I think we have some of our strongest cards here. So, I'm willing to play a card. A hand that has to skip turn 2 if it's getting the Loyalist out into the Gloom Ripper or the Eulogist. I mean, Eulogist is alright, but these two right here are just so strong. Yikes, Morkant's Eyes. And if he kills this thing before we have Elf to get back, we are in trouble. I'm going to assume most of his removal in these colors, though, is going to be like power damage. Like the Assert Perfection, and we need to be tapped. So let's play the Eulogist here. Oh, we got elves in our graveyard. I'm gonna chill out here. I like keeping our ward alive. And I don't know that I've ever seen green-white elves before. Even if he doesn't have elves in the deck, I technically guess this is good because kid can want to be playing creatures each turn, so this surveil each turn might be nice. Okay, this can be a lot of damage. Target creature we control, the one with menace. Then let's blow up his Crossroads Watcher. Attack for 9. Not a bad turn 5. Okay, 6. So we can drop the Reaping Willow in the Scarblade Scout. Let's attack with both of these. And alternatively, we play the Reaping Willow and then get back our Twilight Diviner. And there goes his board. If we wanted to keep the Eulogies alive, we could Blight Rot. Play out the Scarblade Scout. I do like that. No. Does this have Menace? We bring that back, it triggers twice. I like this. Oh, we can't activate it the same turn, and we can't play Scarblade Scout because we are limited by the swamps that we have. This is triple black. So I believe that was a misplay. We should have Blight Rotted something. Probably the 3/3. And then played out the Scout. Wicker Maw is not going to block well. This is going to be a 3/6, and this will be a 3/2. So he's going to need another creature to block, or a combat trick. Okay, let's see. Twilight Diviner, come back. We maybe should have played the Scarblade Scout first, since we're going to mill 2. Now I think it's just we hold up Blight Rot. Well, glad we held up Blight Rot. Okay. So he's dead here. We just have to attack. Kin binding is great, but it's not enough to pull him back from here. Alright, this deck has good offensive potential with how much drain it has. Off the Ulysses, off the Shimmer Creep. And if we get our Lords out and attack with Menace as well, then our Ulysses really is a problem. No Cabbages is our next opponent. We have all black lands, and that's fine because we have all black playables here. Okay, perfect. The 2-drop we can play. That's a scary start. Eclipsed into Thought-Weft Lieutenant. We absolutely will trade that for a land. This is maybe greedy, but when we play Twilight Diviner and Surveil too, we should be able to surveil into some lands. Yup. Yes, right? We play Reaping Willow. Next turn, then probably Gloom Ripper or Shimmer Creep. First striking 4 power, trample. No thank you. We will opt out. And if we toss a Scarblade Scout here, we can get it back to Reaping Willow. So if he attacks with something that looks like it offers a trade with the Iron Shield Elf, I will block, but if we're going to stop one trample by blocking, we won't do that. Well, I guess it'd be Twilight Diviner and Iron Shield Elf. Whenever one or more of the creatures you control enter, if they enter or were cast from a graveyard, create a copy of them. I guess we'll just take this because we're going to double up our Scarblade Scout. And we bring it back. Let's start by removing that Thought-Weft Lieutenant. So he'll have 4 power. So let's power up our Lifelinker. Blow up the Lieutenant. Ends up trading both, that's alright. Now he's very slowed down. I was scared to see Kin Binding again. But a Dawn Blessed Pebnant is much less scary. Ooh, Moon Vigil Adherents are scary. We do have removal that can destroy them, like the Box, so there's Embrace. That does stop our attacks. Let's throw down a couple of Scarblade Scouts. Alright, it's gonna be hard to race life gain in a Kithkin deck. We're just playing creatures and gaining life. Spooky, scary card. Eclipsed Kithkin, I feel like, is one of the most likely cards to hit a non-land, because the Kithkin decks are pretty straightforward. You run a billion creatures that are of Kithkin type, and a few instant sorceries, enchantments, artifacts, if necessary, to push that damage through. Shimmer Creep is just ping number 1. We still do play it to be mana efficient, to get a body out on the board. Alright, we're looking for any form of removal. I guess not Blight Rot, any Bog Slither's Embrace, of which we have 2 in the deck. A Midnight Tiling. The Death Touch Trick, or the Dawn Hand Dissident. Playing that land out might have been incorrect, since we have the Iron Shield Elf out. Okay, we're at a 70% chance now to not hit a land. Alright, his board's getting big and scary, and we keep drawing lands. Okay, Gold Meadow Nomad. It's at least a tiny creature. Alright, you can pump the team once. So, how do we want to block here? I guess we put the Iron Shield Elf on the Shield Bearer. The Shimmer Creep on the Mist Meadow Council. That'll trade. That'll trade for the Kithkin, or we put our 4/4 here. So 12, 15, 17 damage. We go to 16, we need to block with our other Scarblade Scout. We block this like here. And then probably just straight up lose unless we draw something crazy. Oh, we didn't even use Indestructible. Now we do. There's first strike, thank goodness. And I think we want to get rid of the phases. Yeah, okay. Didn't really do much. Just too much flooding there. Just a bit too much flooding. The thing we could have done is we knew there's a high upside to keeping the Reaping Willow alive. If he has removal like Assert Perfection, then, you know, our play makes sense. We traded our Reaping Willow for 2/2/2s. So I think that was fine value. But if we replayed that game and we knew exactly how it was going to happen, we would have kept the Reaping Willow and been able to copy cards that came back from the graveyard. Now this hand is going to have to be mulligan. All forest, all black playables. This is no plays until turn 4. We'll mulligan again. Oops, not the land. We want to send back the feast lane. I'll send out the Iron Shield Elf. There's an argument to be made that we want to send out the Scarblade Scout first, so if Morkan's Loyalist dies, there's an elf to get back from these 2 cards that it milled. We'll see if that plays out. Because we can always get an elf in the graveyard by discarding it with the Iron Shield Elf. This is stupid. It just reveals a card. Is it? Actually, he could have Cinder Strike. Sorcery Speed. He has the treasure to play it. Okay, one more swamp, we can play the Reaping Willow, two more lands of any color, we can play the Shimmer Creep, and Pummel for higher. Those are the most expensive cards in our deck. So the only other cards we could draw and wouldn't be able to play with our 3 lands would be our other copy of Dawn Hand Eulogist. And the Gloom Ripper. Okay, good. Get a land. It's a forest, unfortunately, instead of a swamp, but closer to these guys. Okay, we're not gonna block that. It's kind of cool. The aggressor is going to give double strike to any changeling. Okay, you will just... What can you do here? That's rough. I think we're dead here. We can't block any of the first strikers. Yeah. With the double block, it'll destroy Scarblade Scout, and then we won't actually destroy the Baldwin Aggressor or his Chitness Grasp. So this deck, unfortunately, finishes 3-3. I think it deserved a bit better than that. But we're learning how to deal with the graveyard and interact with it with the Donner Distant. Definitely could have played this better and our Reaping Willow better. So, good games. We'll see you next time.